Greetings and salutations, my fellow Blackish fans. Today I would like to discuss the season finale of Blackish, Season 6. There are quite a few interesting developments that happened in this season, and this episode, specifically Dre, touches upon all the changes the family has been going through, etc., etc. But the biggest draw and the biggest appeal of this episode is that Ruby and Earl, Grandpa, they're back together, and it seems like it's a legit thing. Unfortunately, Dre isn't taking it very well. But in his defense, he did kind of catch his senior citizen parents in the act. Pretty traumatizing stuff for, I think, anyone. But hey, man, it's natural. Leave it alone, Dre. But unfortunately, Dre loves his mom a little bit too much, to the point where he wants to drive a wedge between Grandpa, Ruby, and Earl. First he goes to his dad and he tries to put his foot down and tells him to leave his mom alone and this, that, and the third, and borderline tries to fight his dad. Of course in a jokingly way, nothing too serious. But eventually he decides to fall back because Earl reveals that Ruby is the one that initiated this interaction, this re-engagement. So, you can't be mad at dad for just, following the will of, the lady, if that's what she wants, and that's also what he wants, So she has to go face his mom, and whew. So now as we get into the subplot, it starts with the Junior taking note of Ruby and Grandpa's reestablished love, and, he gets kind of down in the dumps when they tell him, hey, Junior, since you haven't found the love of your life yet, you're kind of screwed. If you don't find him early, you're gonna end up buying prostitutes, and that's gonna be the pips, So it's a funny line, and of course the Johnsons are always known, making fun of each other. It wasn't a serious thing, but Junior's personality, as we know, is he's a little bit sensitive, and he kind of takes things to heart. So Junior becomes infatuated with this journey to find his true love. And that kind of consists of him going through all of his exes throughout the last couple of seasons, which is, not quite sure that's the way you would go about finding true love, but okay. Already not the greatest approach. He messes up and he's just like Dre, his daddy, and he decides to take suggestions from the boys at work.
She's cute.
Big Boss doing his normal racist thing. Charlie being very manipulative and pretty much messing up the entire process. Josh kind of gave some genuine input, but, it was already ruined from the start, And the idea of looking through your exes to find love is already bad, so pretty much Junior's plotline is already doomed to fail. We're just going to be witnessing how it's going to fail. At least Big Boss let him have, $1,000 to help him in his journey to woo his woman, even though, if you're genuine about it, you shouldn't really need, money in that sense to woo your woman. But that's a conversation for another time. Maybe you do. Back to the show. Now, as we move back to the main plot that's going on with Ruby, Earl, and Dre, we see Dre confront Ruby about the whole situation and see what's going on. And then we find out that Ruby, gifted Grandpa the boat. And the boat has been a very recurring plot line for the last, 3, 4, 5 seasons. Grandpa got his blown up by Ruby because he was cheating or he was doing something scummy. And, it is what it is. Boats are expensive. And he never bothered to get another one. And then that boat is always a symbol of their very, toxic, unhealthy relationship. But after all these seasons, Ruby went out of her way and bought him a boat. And, it's a perfect representation of, them trying to rebuild something that was destroyed. Actually, Grandpa Earl had a great line about it right here.
My handsome baby.
Well, it's nice to know that just because something gets destroyed, it doesn't mean you can't piece it all back together. Thank you, baby.
Can you believe this?
This is so romantic.
But despite all that, Dre is not buying it. All this love, mushy gushy stuff, everybody else gets it. Everybody else is on board. But, because Dre loves his mom so much and he's seen her get hurt by his father on more than one occasion, he just doesn't want to have to, choose between them once again, as he always used to do. Especially now that he's getting a decent relationship with his father. But, I mean, even understanding his gripes, his woes,
No.
Dre takes the next level. He's like, all right, mama, it's my house. It's my rules. If you don't want to not be with the guy that gave me life and, whatever,
Doing it this time.
leave. I'm going to kick you out. It's either stop being with Grandpa. I'm now going to be your father, Either you leave Grandpa and don't be with him, or y'all both get the like, really? You're gonna give your mom like ultimatums like that off of something that's not even. It's a very bad showcase of character, but that's just the thing about Blackish. It shows people being their weakest selves so they can kind of build themselves back up from there. Because we're human and not perfect. And luckily, after a good pep talk from Bo, Dre sees the error of his ways and runs off and catches his mother and apologizes to Ruby. And as the show progresses, they get on the boat, they sail off into the sunset. Junior gets splashed by some water by a cutie, and it, starts the beginning of his love story with, love at first sight. Damn, do you see the way they're looking at each other right there? It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful stuff. Brings a tear to my eye. So that pretty much wraps up season 6 of Blackish. A lot of progress has been made throughout the season. Grandpa has had his heart broken and then repaired and then broken and then, repaired. And now he's in love with his original OG woman. So lots of things have been going on with him. Junior has been trying to progress with his career. He's been doing big things, trying to step out of his father's, shadow and be his own man. But at the same time, he has some level of connection to his dad now because they always had this very, demeaning relationship. And, Dre always says, oh, this is my least favorite kid. You're such a weirdo. You're such a this and that. And they've bonded before in previous seasons. Like, they bonded over, like, Game of Thrones and a couple of other things. But this season, I feel like the strength of their bond has really been magnified. So I like that. A lot of, like, really good, noteworthy episodes in this season. The exclusive Black Club episode, the girlfriend reunion episode, the episode where Bo is put onto the board of medicine and Dre needs to be humbled and realize that he's not necessarily the star of the relationship and that Bo is, shining really bright right now. So that kind of leaves opportunity for Dre to grow more next season to really be the person he thinks he is. Because he's successful. He does well. But Bo, it's really been magnified this season that she's kind of just, kind of like it's like 70-30. Like, she really brings like a lot to the table. She's more attractive than Dre, more successful. So it's just kind of like, you're lucky, Dre. Diana's been growing, going through puberty, trying to, get her first boyfriend stuff going on, liking the old Asian friend. Excuse me for forgetting his name. That plot line is developing. So a lot of juicy stuff has been happening. And in comparison to season 5, where it was very like melancholy and sad, and Dre and Bo are about to break up, and there are all these relationship struggles, and it was like, the screen had this blue tint, like it was just to like exhibit this depressing feel to it. But overall, this season was a little bit more, joyful, more family friendly, more, not as depressing, more comedic like it was originally meant to be. I did enjoy season 5 trying to take that alternate route and take that direction, but some people didn't. But, either way, whatever they do, I really enjoy it. I love the perspective, I love the experiences, I love the lessons, and I am ready for it to return in, a couple of months or a year in season 7, because I believe it's already been greenlit. So when that comes out, I will be back and we will continue to discuss about this very entertaining show called Blackish. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time.